Well, howdy, howdy, howdy. Nearly Senior Citizen here. Greetings, boys and girls, and welcome to this. Me dealing with a very silly little goose. He's probably going to jump off my hand. This is a little Figmo. He's Mr. Nervous. He is going to be nervous all of his life, I think. Every time when he's in my cage and he hears any movement or sees anything. And hamsters can't see much. They can only see shadows, light and dark and all that. But whenever he sees me moving around, he immediately rears up and puts up his hind legs and opens his mouth in terror. So he's very, very nervous. I mean, he's a good little guy. He doesn't bite. I woke him up and got him out, and he didn't bite me. He just tried to run away. And now I'm trying to make sure he doesn't jump and get hurt. But he's a sweetie, an absolute little sweetheart. But he's nervous and scared, so I'm going to put him back in his cage and let him go back to bed. Here we go, little guy. Keep your feet there so that you don't feel like you're dangling over the abyss. And there you go. And then bring the lid back so it's dark. He is just so nervous. He's probably not going to live as long as the others because he's so high-strung. And the thing with being high-strung, why it'll kill you early, is it drives your blood pressure up, and driving your blood pressure up weakens your heart and all the vessels in your brain, making it much more likely that you're going to have a heart attack or stroke. It messes up the hamster bedding. It messes up your body to have your blood pressure up too high, and being anxious, being nervous like that drives your blood pressure up. And at the very least, I mean, that's and there's more, of course, but at the very, very least, I mean, your blood pressure is not good when it goes up. That's bad. That's why I have to wear, and other people out there have to wear sleep apnea masks, because I stop breathing while I'm sleeping. And what happens is that puts a terrible strain on your heart because you're starving it of oxygen. Terrible strain on your brain. You're starving it of oxygen. And while it's not going to just, like, I fall asleep almost every day these days, though I try not to. But that's just another tiny piece of straw put on the camel's back. And right now, my blood pressure is still like 113/70. And I go walking 6 and 7 miles almost daily. It's raining hard every single day now. I haven't been able to make real walkies for like 2 days now. Well, I couldn't go yesterday, but I could go the day before, so. But I'm doing as good as I can for my cardiac health. And so my blood pressure is still good, but each time I fall asleep and stop breathing, that's another piece of straw put on the camel's back. And you do that enough, and that camel's gonna collapse eventually. You know, one piece of straw is just 0.0000, kilograms, if even that much. I don't know how much straw weighs, but you put 1,000 of them or 10,000 on there, that adds up. So yeah, you got to be careful. Luckily though, the human body is built on an incredible amount of redundancy, a huge amount of redundancy. I mean, you can live with only one lung. You're going to feel it. You're not going to be out running marathons, but you can live with only one lung. You can live losing one of your kidneys. You can lose.
These people are my friends. I'm one of them. I belong.
Enough of your liver that there's just a chunk the size of a quarter, and your body will still be okay. You won't be working well, but you'll still be alive because your liver is like a big chunk this big, and you will still work with it with a little bit like that. And of course, the liver is the only organ in the body that regenerates itself, except, of course, for alcohol damage. The liver cannot regenerate alcohol damage. I'm lucky my liver works at all. When I went in for rehab, my body was in such bad shape. I had a swollen liver. Hepatitis. Hepatitis just means swollen liver. So I had alcoholic hepatitis, not a viral hepatitis. And I shouldn't have lived through that. My liver is it's fatty. It's, let's see, it's got scarring, but it's chugging along and doing great. I mean, it shouldn't even work. And those parts of it that I tore apart and destroyed by making it fatty and scarred and fibrous, they'll never recover. So I've permanently stripped away like half of my liver from working properly. And yet, I might live till 90 and never have a problem with the rest of my liver. It'll chug away and keep me working just fine. Thumbs up. But your whole body is like that. That's why they can reroute and do such with your digestive system. They can cut out chunks of they have to, of your digestive system, and it will affect you, of course. We have evolved with our bodies so that they need to be a certain length to do a certain amount of work. So you cut chunks out, it's going to cause a lot of damage, but it's still going to work. And that's the point. So there's luckily a lot of redundancy in the body. Not a ton in areas like your pancreas. I mean, if your pancreas really goes, then that's it. Luckily, you can live without a spleen if you take other medications. My wife lost her spleen when she had exploratory surgery because of her Hodgkin's lymphoma as a teenager. They had to take her spleen out, and then later on, during our marriage, she had so much stuff removed. She was hollowed out. She lost her spleen when younger, but they had to take out her gallbladder while we were married. She had a near total hysterectomy. It was like the only thing that left was, from the cervix upward was that cervix and nothing left. So they kind of kept hollowing her out. But it kept her alive because one of her ovaries blew up, basically, and she was bleeding out. So they did what they had to do. She had no luck in her life. I mean, I complain about my life. But I've lived through it. Her life sucked, and then she died. I mean, that's the way it is for everybody, but she died at 41. It happens, though. I mean, life is life. She wouldn't even have lived that long if they hadn't given her the mass chemo and radiation that they did when she was a teen. But because they gave her the mass chemo and radiation as a teen, when she was older, everything was destroyed. Just destroyed. Her heart was smaller than it should have been for her age and size, and her lungs were at best 33% of vital capacity. That's considered like danger area when you dip down to it, and that's where she was on a good day. So she was in bad shape, and it was rough. I mean, she went from being the type of person that could do 12-hour-plus days working as a licensed practical nurse when I first met her, because she was a nurse, an LPN at a nursing home, and I was the nurse's aide and followed her around like a lovesick puppy. Luckily, everyone thought it was cute, or I should have been fired, really, from the lack of work that I was doing. But everyone thought it was cute. Thank God. And then midway through our marriage, of course, she was not doing so well, where at first, in 2007, not that long after her first surgeries, because she had to have heart valves replaced, and she was dying on the table, so thumbs up for that. And then we went to Disneyland in like 2007, 2008. My brother-in-law went, and we were able to piggyback on top of his trip, and so it cost us less because we were piggybacking, and so we went to Disneyland. And she was in a wheelchair during the entire time and could barely go on anything, but at least she got to go one last time, and that's good. But then she got better for a couple of years, and that she was able to walk around and actually had portable oxygen packs, and that was good. And so we were able to get around, and she was able to go places and do things. But then the last year, she fell apart so badly, I had to help her down to the bathroom, and she had to go. At first, I helped her walk down that way, and then it became I had to wheel her in her wheelchair. And then on the last 2 weeks, some odd weeks, well, 2 weeks approximately, of her life, when she was on hospice in our living room in a hospital bed, she just had a commode right there in the living room, so she didn't even have to go far, just had to help her up from the bed to the commode and then back. And since I'd worked as a nurse's aide, helping her do things like that, physically was second nature. I was my wife's caretaker, so. Oh, good golly, Miss Molly, I don't want to get depressing at all. Though it already is, and my sincere apologies. But at least, hey, I'm able to talk about her more and talk about her life more without being devastated, and that is a wonderful thing therapy has been good for. Because the situation's never going to change. She's always going to be gone. And life is life. But as stated, I complain about my life, and hers was horrible. So I did my very, very best to keep her happy during the years that we were married. I did my damnedest, and if I could go back and do it all again, I would, even with the damage that it did to me physically and mentally, because toward the end, I almost wiped my own kidneys out. I was so dehydrated. I damaged my kidneys badly. They're doing okay now, but I gotta make sure I keep them hydrated because they were badly damaged, and that's not good. Well, it is coming up on Christmas, and for those people that celebrate Christmas, I hope everyone has a good Christmas. For those people that do not celebrate Christmas, either because of family reasons or cultural reasons or social reasons, which social would be cultural, wouldn't it? But for whatever the reasons that you don't, whether it's not your religious holiday, or it is, or you're in a part of the world that doesn't do that, still, happy holidays, because there's like 29 or some different major religious holidays from like the world's major religions all happening during this period, which is why people say happy holidays instead of Merry Christmas, because while a huge portion of the United States does self-identify as Christian, there's different denominations of Christianity, and then still 30% that's not. And while the government's not supposed to be sanctioning any official religion, of course, Christmas is the only holiday, Christian holiday, that actually gets recognized. So, the war on Christmas, it's the only holiday that's an actual religious holiday. And it's on the calendar that everyone gets off. Oh, but there's a war because people say happy holidays. Yeah, acknowledging other religions. It's certainly a war on Christianity and Christmas, isn't it? Boy. It's the persecution complex of those in power, so it's weird. You gotta love that. Still though, as stated on that little mini rant there, Merry Christmas for those that celebrate. Happy, good solstice time for everybody else, not solstice. Is today the 22nd? Today's the 23rd. Yesterday was the longest day of the year. So yesterday must have been the winter solstice, so how about that? How about that? Very cool. But happy upcoming New Year for those that celebrated on this point in time. I don't know when everybody does, so I mean, I know there's different types of New Year's and such, so still, happy holidays, everybody. I'm spending my holidays roughly alone, but I'm still reaching out at all times to my children and my brother-in-law's family. So far, being rebuffed, but I still got the rest of my life. And hey, at least I'm alive to try and get involved with my children again. Definitely a thumbs up. Oh shucks, 14 minutes and change. I am going to go through and thank 20 to 25 people for having left me comments on my community tab, because I've opened up 24 hours worth of comments on my community tab. I'm going to go through and thank 20 to 25 people. It is a range because even though I count an American Sign Language on the fingers of this hand, I have fibro, depression, widower brain, post-acute withdrawal syndrome, rental tongue syndrome. So I'm amazed I remember to put my head on straight in the morning sometimes. And if I mispronounce a username, no disrespect is intended. I'm an American English speaker. We know how to pronounce things like Jones or Smith real well. And of course, I'm not reading the comments. I'm just thanking people for having left a comment, a good comment, a bad comment, and a different comment. Thank you for having left a comment. That's the important part. It is very, very nice. Nobody has to leave a comment. So even if it's a troll comment, you're still taking the time and effort to leave a comment. And that is appreciated. Even if it's a comment that I have to go, ooh, and get rid of. So, let's see. Where is my Chrome? I sure hope I open that up still. Yes, here we are. Adam Warthog X, thank you very, very much. Jose Henrique, greatly appreciated. Timbo, thumbs up and thank you. Ice Damon, remember, check out his channel. He too does a Paths of Exile playthrough. He's up to number 69 on his latest one. Very, very cool. Elias Quintana, thank you very, very much. And Tony Naito, thank you very much. Carter Doherty, thank you very much. Oh, I did actually read that. It says, I'm the only person to pronounce your last name right. I sure hope I continued to pronounce it correctly. That would be embarrassing if the same comment where you thanked me for it, I mispronounced it badly now. Flores Renee Stephen, thank you very, very much. Justin Tan, thank you very much. David Palencio, greatly appreciated. Elimar Lucas, thumbs up and thank you. Mashari, thumbs up. Simon Chevy, greatly appreciated. Travis Browning, thumbs up and greatly appreciated. John Timing, greatly appreciated. Giovanni Hernandez, thank you. Mayank Sharma, thumbs up and thank you. Lucifer, I like that very much. Wally Wheezes, thumbs up and thank you. S. Moody, greatly appreciated. Yuval Grossman, thumbs up. Everything I Hate, La Tyler. And Depressed Snowflake, thumbs up. Bandera Scubs fan, thank you very, very much. And last but not least, 420 Pimpin', greatly appreciated, each and every one of you. As stated, you get me out of my head, into the world, dealing with actual people, if only in text. And that's important. I don't deal with people face to face a lot, even beforehand. Even before I dealt with the death of my wife and my withdrawal and my just increasing social anxieties. Even before that, I never really dealt with people much. Partly because of my alcoholism and how you have increasing isolation, but partly I've always, even when I was in the Air Force, once I got a computer, I spent most of my time playing computer games and less interacting with other people. So I've been an extroverted introvert pretty much my whole life. So I can't get upset, and I'm not going to get upset if I'm not suddenly an extroverted life of the party type. Because that's never been who I am. And while you cannot be a slave to the past, you have to forge the future the way you want to be. I'm happy being an extroverted introvert. It's not bad. I still deal with people, even if I don't deal with them on a face-to-face basis every single day. Oh, shucks, look at the time. I've got a whole bunch of links down here on Twitter, Facebook, GoFundMe, Patreon.com, NearlySeniorCitizen.com, if you could check those out. If you could donate to my GoFundMe campaign or become a Patreon.com patron like one of these beautiful and awesome people, that would be incredible, beautiful, and awesome. But if you cannot donate, or you simply do not donate, I do take all good wishes. I deposit them in the bank of my heart where I draw interest, so thank you very much. And if you could toss me a like, I do appreciate all the positive validation I get for my existence. Definitely a thumbs up. And if you could subscribe to the channel, that would be cool and greatly appreciated. Now, I would understand if you don't want to. I mean, first you've got to like vlogging, and then you've got to get past the old guy part, and so... But if you are down with it, I will do my very best to keep you entertained from now until the literal end of time, which will happen on the day that I die, because the universe comes to a crashing halt when I kick off. For me, anyway. Hopefully not for the rest of the universe. I mean, that would mean I'm just a brain in a jar. So hopefully I'm not just a brain in a jar, inventing all this just to keep from going mad. Which would mean I've already gone mad. Anyway, you take care. Have a great day today. I will see you on the flip side, and that, my friend, is a very good thing.